Doing this review of My Cousin Vinny, a film directed by Jonathan Lynn and starring Ralph Macchio, Joe Pesci, Marisa Tomei, and Fred Gwynne. Okay, so I had heard about this movie and I had seen a couple of clips online, so I decided to give it a watch, mainly because of Joe Pesci. I went in without knowing really anything about it. I was kind of surprised that this was a comedy. Like I said, I did not know. I was expecting more of like a dramedy of some sort. So the premise is that there are these couple of kids that get framed for a murder they did not commit. And so Joe Pesci becomes their lawyer because he's cousin of Ralph Macchio's character. But he basically has no experience, and he's very Joe Pesci. You know, if you know the characters that Joe Pesci plays, it's kind of like that, but a lot less violent. And so this movie takes place in the Deep South, and Joe Pesci's character is from New York. So there's this kind of like culture shock in the way that things work down south, the way that they do things, the way that their justice system works, and Joe Pesci has to deal with that. I must clarify that Pesci is actually the main character of this story, and it follows him through his trials and tribulations in this town, along with his girlfriend, played by Marisa Tomei. Now, right off the bat, the writers for this take some liberties, doing some stuff that maybe in real life would not happen or would not be plausible, but that for comedic purposes, it works well as long as you go with it as an audience. I like the production design and the set pieces where everything takes place. It looks really cool. The pacing's really good. I think the script is really well made. Uh, but I will say that despite it and of itself being good, Joe Pesci kind of carries this and makes it what it is. Without him, to be honest, it would not just not be as good. I think it would be a different movie, even with the same script. Joe Pesci has a very specific Jersey charm to him, impossible to replicate. And so he really brings that to all his characters. None of Joe Pesci's characters can be played by anyone else. That's what makes him so special. And so, in short, it was a good time. Like I said, I was expecting something a bit more serious, but it is a comedy. It's a really good one. We really don't get much of these anymore. There are some here and there, but not much. I think nowadays this would be a film that just comes out straight to Netflix and doesn't make too much noise, if it would come out at all. But for the time, I think it's really good, and I definitely recommend. And also, I'd like to mention that Marisa Tomei's performance as Joe Pesci's girlfriend is also really good, really funny, and all that stuff. But her accent, I mean, it's really good for what it is. But I've always wondered, it's that stereotypical, like, comedic New York accent, like that I'm walking here type of accent. I don't know how. Do some people actually have that accent? Because I assume that they do. I've heard a New York accent before. I grew up in New Jersey, so close by. But like this specific accent that she's doing, I don't know how real that is. If it still exists, I hope to meet a person that speaks like that one day.